Hey y'all, thanks so much for joining us. On this week's menu, we'll be making ground turkey burgers with caramelized onions, sautéed mushrooms, and Swiss cheese. I'd like to start by giving a special shout out to my good friend Debbie for sending me this awesome tea towel. This is definitely going to be a staple in my kitchen from now on out. So ingredients you'll need for this week's recipe is a pound of ground turkey. In this case, I'm using a ground turkey that is 93% lean to 7% fat ratio, a Vidalia onion, which is a sweet onion, some white button mushrooms, then we're going to add some dried mustard, some kosher salt, and finally some pepper. So let's get started. Begin by chopping 8 ounces of white button mushrooms. Using a mandoline, we're going to slice our Vidalia onion. Be very careful with this because it's very, very sharp. But what's great about it is the fact that it will create these ultra thin slices, as you can see right there. And you don't waste time chopping. In a bowl, combine 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1.5 teaspoons of dried mustard, and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. And then just mix it together with your hands, making sure that we're evenly distributing the spices throughout the meat. It's kind of gross, but it's fun getting your hands dirty. After you combined the spices with the meat, roll into 4 bowls, form into patties. We're making quarter pounders here. And we're going to pop these in the fridge for about 30 minutes, just to let them firm up a little bit so they're easier when we put them on the grill. In a cast iron pan, add some oil, and when it's nice and hot over medium to high heat, add your mushrooms and saute for about 5 minutes. After about 5 minutes, will wilt down. You'll see that the water in the mushroom is coming out, and they've turned colors. I'm probably gonna go another minute or so on this, just to give them a little bit more crispy outer coating. So you can see now it has a nice crispy outside to some of them. So they are ready to come out of the skillet. I'm gonna just transfer them to the bowl, and then we're gonna add our onions in the same hot skillet and saute those next. In the same skillet that we did the mushrooms in, I'm going to add the onion, and we are going to saute the onion until it caramelizes, which should be probably about 10 to 15 minutes. You want to just keep the heat on medium and move the onions around, and they'll slowly wilt down and start turning colors into a nice deep golden brown. And we'll come back and watch this process happen. This is what they look like after about 5 minutes. So you can see that they're beginning to change colors and they've shrunk in size. I added a little bit more oil, and you just need to keep moving them around so they don't burn. But you want to turn the heat down to a medium to a low and just take its time and let this stuff caramelize and come together. This is what they'll look like after about 10 minutes of cooking. These are looking really, really good and ready to come out of the pan. Before we do that, I'm going to add a splash of red wine vinegar, and that's just to deglaze the pan and get everything up and off the bottom, any brown bits, before we take these bad boys out. And it also adds just a little bit of flavor to the onions as well. In the same pan that we sauteed the mushrooms and the onion in, we're going to add a little bit more oil. And when that becomes nice and hot, we're going to drop in our burgers and cook them in the same pan. We're going to do 3 minutes on each side. I have a lid to my pan, so I'm going to cover my pan, and that just helps with the cooking. After about 3 minutes, we're going to flip these bad boys. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect crust. Pop the lid back on, and 3 minutes on this side. Now we're going to assemble our burgers. So I'm going to start with the caramelized onions. Just going to put that on top of the burger. Spread it out. What's great about this recipe also is the fact that the caramelized onions, you get that flavor, and then you get the mushroom flavor, and with the Swiss cheese, it really turns into, you don't even notice that it's not beef. And so that's why I really love this burger. It's a way to like do something that is a little more healthy, but it's kind of hidden. And then we're gonna top that with a lovely piece of Swiss cheese. Do another one, and then we're gonna pop them in the broiler for a couple of minutes. Just keep an eye on it, just to melt that cheese, and then we're ready for serving. All right, guys, this is right out of the broiler. You can see that the cheese has gotten nice and melty all around the toppings. It also helps to keep all the toppings together. I don't even use a bun anymore. I just think that the flavors on this are just that good that you don't even need a bun. And let's test it out. Let's see what these bad boys taste like. So good. Don't even know the difference that it is not beef at this point. The caramelized onions are nice and sweet. You get the earthiness from the mushrooms. Totally a showstopper for any backyard barbecue. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Please like and share, and we'll see you next week.